Hey guys, Heather here from Tye-Dyed Iguana, and today we're going to talk a little bit about why a snake might bite you. Now, one of the most common questions we get asked here by our customers at our shop is, will this snake bite me? Now, everything with a mouth can and will bite, but we're going to talk about what might cause a snake to bite you. Even a type of snake that might be usually calm, what might cause them to bite you. There are some snakes that are naturally a little bit more bitey than others, kind of like your tree boas and everything, tree pythons. But today we're going to kind of talk about what might cause a snake to bite you. Now, the most common type of bite that you'll see from a snake, yawn. Oh my goodness. Yes, I see those chompers. Anyway, the most common type of bite that these guys can give is a defensive bite. Now, that happens when the snake is scared or startled. Like if they are maybe sleeping and they don't know you're... Man, everybody's yawning. That's because they just ate, I think. Or they're hungry, maybe, because they're in sheds. I don't think they ate. But, yeah. So, yeah, a case of startling them is maybe they're fast asleep and they don't know you're coming. You open the tank, you get in and grab them. All of a sudden, they might bite because they get scared. They don't know who's grabbing them, maybe, and they'll just bite you real quick. Now, defensive bites, they will usually let go really quickly. Some will hang on. But most of the time with a defensive bite, it happens really fast, very quickly. Sometimes you don't even barely feel it happening. And they'll let go right away. It's just a warning saying, leave me alone. Oh my goodness. Yawn. Somebody is so yawny today. Yes, I see your beautiful mouth. Oh my goodness. Somebody's fixing their jaws, I think. Yeah. Your jaws are, oh my lord, goodness gracious. And then sometimes your defensive bites will just come because they don't like to be messed with. They're just trying to defend themselves. Like Slinky here, he does not like to be touched, and he will let you know because he will try to bite if you try to pick him up. So that'll be more of the defensive bite. He's not angry, he's just scared. Usually people think snakes bite because they get angry. No, it's all just defense. They're just protecting themselves. Alright, we're going to go in here to talk about our second type of bite. The I'm hungry bite. The feeding bite. Yeah. And this usually happens when the snake is hungry and they see your hand coming. And they see the heat signature off of that. That's how they detect their prey, from the heat signature. And they're so hungry, they'll just go after anything with a heat signature that moves, basically. And that's what happens a lot of the time when people get bit, is when they're getting ready to feed their snakes and their snakes are hungry. And they grab their hand and fingers. As Jenny found out today, today's feeding day for these guys, and a couple of these guys decided to bite Jenny's hand and fingers because they were hungry. They knew it was feeding day. Now, the one bad thing about feeding bites is that sometimes the snakes won't let go when they bite you. And sometimes they'll even constrict your hand or finger or whatever they grab onto. But one time we had a king snake. It was a Mexican black king snake. Not this dude. This is a Pueblan milk snake. But one time the king snake latched onto her hand. Didn't strike. He just smelled her hand and then all of a sudden just chomped it and wouldn't let go for the longest time and tried to wrap around and everything. So yeah. Defensive bites, they usually let go right away. With feeding bites, it's a little bit different. If they're really hungry, they'll wrap around your hand and stuff. It's not too fun. Also, if you have the scent of their food on your hands, sometimes snakes will smell that and they'll think that your hand is food. So if you have to handle any of your live feeders, like your rats or your mice or anything, and say you want to go get your snake out, make sure you wash your hands in between, because if they smell your hand and it smells like they're feeders, they might give you a feeding bite. So that is another thing to look out for. And another thing about king snakes is that they like to eat other snakes. So sometimes if they smell another snake on your hand or something and you're holding them, they might think it's time to eat and they'll bite your hand. So, because these guys are what they call cannibals, they will eat other snakes. Well, we got our defensive bites and our feeding bites, but sometimes a snake will bite you for no apparent reason. Sometimes you just get snakes that are more bitey than others. Sometimes there's just no way to prevent it or whatever. Sometimes you just get snakes that really like to bite. And you just can't help it. But it's usually either one of those bites, either defensive or feeding, but some just feel a bit more defensive than others. Like your green tree pythons, like this one here, they're a bit more on the defensive side, so their personality is to bite more. And then, yeah, your other arboreal pythons and boas as well.